Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here. Back again with another video. Tomorrow we have, tonight we have the Saints and the Chargers matching up Week 3 final preseason game of the 2022 preseason. Thank God it's here. And thank God, it's here to get over with. This is one of the, necessary evils, I guess you can say, that you have to get through. And this one is, probably a lot more nail biting as far as injuries go than all of the other preseason games, because you're just trying to get through this one, in one piece. You're not trying to have anybody get injured, and this is what I'm going to go into here, giving my point. So, number one, I feel like no starter should play in this game tonight. There should not be any starters on the field, just based off of the injury risk that is there. We see the J.C. Jackson injury, even though it's not considered serious, he is one of the top players in the NFL. He's one of the top players in the Chargers, high price free agent. So that's a guy who you want healthy going into the season. And you also want everybody else healthy going into the season as well, too. You cannot afford to have any injuries being accrued, in a preseason game, especially the last preseason game. So, it doesn't really mean anything. And, the starter should just, be sitting out and, not having to really worry about having to replace starters going into week 1 against the Raiders. That is the nightmare situation that I think the Chargers need to avoid with this. There's really there's no benefit of playing any starters. All these guys have been getting work in. The Chargers have, they pretty much completed training camp. I think training camp was done yesterday, so to speak. So this last preseason game is here. Training camp was finished yesterday. Last preseason game, later on today, and then after that, the cuts happened, and then you're officially in the regular season. You're officially making your preparations for week 1. So, all the work that the guys have gotten in, it's already been done. So, you really don't need to see a whole lot from the starters. So that's why they shouldn't play. Now, I think this preseason game is important to develop depth. You kind of have to look and see who's been the most consistent as far as the depth pieces go. Who's been the most consistent in practice and who has been the most consistent in games. There hasn't been too many guys who have really, excelled in the preseason as far as the games go. There's ups and downs, obviously, just like any NFL game, any NFL, preseason, there's always ups and downs, right? Talented guys have ups and downs. They might not understand the offense. They might not understand defense. They might not understand the game in general, whatever. Or, there's a lot of settling in that these guys have to do. So there hasn't been, too much stellar play in the preseason from any of the Chargers. But I think this is a chance to evaluate some of the guys who are going to be depth pieces, right? Guys who are going to be filling in if there's any injuries in the season. Guys who are really, not really filled in for a roster spot, but guys who are likely to make the roster. I think those are the guys who got to show something, at least in the game. They don't have to play the whole game. They don't have to put up great stats, but show something, right? Have a couple of good series, and I think that's good enough. I'm looking at a guy like Michael Bandy, right? He's a guy who has impressed. He's been really good in training camp, and he's been good in these games as well, too. So if he comes out, if he has a couple of good series, 3, 4, 5 good series or whatever, I think he's a lock to make the team. So you're looking at guys like that, Michael Bandy, I don't know, maybe some linemen, maybe can have good performances, maybe change some minds if they're bubble guys. There are some guys who can make some noise, right, and can make it a little harder on the coaching staff, can make it a little harder on Tom Telesco. As far as cut day goes. But I think for the most part, this roster is pretty much, constructed, and there aren't too many open spots, So I think a lot of guys at this point now in this game are going to be competing for, I think it's 10 spots, right, on the practice squad. So, if you're a Kevin Marks, running back, right, this is a game where you really want to show something. You really want to put some tape out there, for the Chargers, to say, hey, we really like this guy. We don't want to let him go, so we're going to keep him on the practice squad. And then at that point, you're eligible to be signed by any other team if they have injuries, right? So, I'm looking for guys like that, Kevin Marks. I'm looking for Leedy Brown, the running backs. Even some of the defensive linemen. The Andrew Browns. These guys, they have to come out and show something. The DBs, Dean Leonard, the Sebastian, number 38. They have to show something. They had such a porous performance in the last preseason game. They have to come out and show something, put something good on tape, finish the preseason out, finish training camp out strong, put some good tape out there, and make it hard on the Chargers to just completely let you go. You want to be on a practice squad. You want to be on a practice squad, especially on this team, because even if you're a guy who you're an undrafted free agent, you got a year or two in the league, right? You haven't made any noise. There are so many good players on this team. There is value in being on the practice squad, right? There's value in going up against a Keenan Allen every day. There's value in going up against a Mike Williams every day. There's value in, going up against Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert. There's value in that. So, I don't think guys should really just mail it in or whatever. I think they should really, really, really try their hardest to put some good tape on film, because this is a squad you want to be with. You want to be practicing against these guys every day. There's value in it. You're going to get better. You're going to get better as a player. You're going to have a better understanding of football and, the way the NFL works in general. And to be on a team that has championship aspirations, even to be on the practice squad, you're going to get better as a player. So I think that these guys should really, really take this third game seriously, even if they feel like they don't have a chance, or maybe if they feel like they're the odd man out and not making the roster or not making the practice squad. They should go out there and ball, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. This is the NFL game, so there could be some injuries, right? So there's some guys who might make the team, who could, go down, maybe have an injury, maybe have an ankle, hamstring, or whatever. So there could be a space that comes available. So all we know is that you have to put good tape on film. I do not want this third game to go like the third game went last season against the Seahawks. Remember when Trey Perkins was getting beat by guys who got cut by the Seahawks? Like, that was embarrassing. And Trey Perkins still made the team because there was a need at his position, at the tackle position. But if there was anybody else who was, really neck and neck with him, Trey Perkins probably would have got cut last year, because it was a pretty bad performance to put on film, in your last preseason game, and the last game that, really GMs are going to look at, and say, hey, I want to sign this guy off the practice squad. Or if this guy gets cut, I'm looking at him. He's going to be the first guy I bring in if the Chargers cut him. Like, Trey Pipkins put bad film. He put bad film out there. So if he got cut, he probably would have had a hard time really, finding a team to sign him based off of that film that he put out there, because he had, so much, it was just a bad game. One of his worst games. And it sucks that it was a preseason game, but it is what it is. This is the NFL. You cannot do that. You can't put bad film on tape, and that can't be, GM's, head coach's last impression of you as a player in the preseason. A guy who's giving up a bunch of sacks or giving up touchdowns or not running the routes that he's supposed to be running, or just doing whatever position that you're playing. That's not what you want to put out there. You want to put out good tape. You want to put out there that you're a good teammate, you're a guy who's coachable, all of that good stuff, right? So this is the game where all of that stuff happens. So I'm going to be watching. I'm not going to be taking a whole lot away from it, though. I think a lot of this is fatigue. A lot of some of the play that's going to happen tomorrow is just going to be training camp fatigue, preseason fatigue. Guys are antsy to get into the regular season, so I'm not going to take too much away from all of the play. I still will cover what I seen afterwards, but I'm not going to take too much away from it. I thought last week could have been the game where we seen a lot of good play, but obviously we didn't. But I'll still go ahead and cover afterwards. But I'm not going to take a whole lot away from this game. Let's just get through this game as injury-free as we can. Let's let Tom Telesco, let's let Brandon Staley burn that midnight oil and, make all of these cuts before they have to get down to the 53 by next Tuesday, I believe. So let's just get through this game and we'll evaluate it from there afterwards. But the Raiders are on my mind. Week 1 is on my mind now, so I'm not really worried about the Saints. Just hopefully it's entertaining and all that good stuff. But yeah, the Raiders are on my mind now. So as we move into this regular season, let's get it going. So that's all I got for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the game. Hopefully there's no injuries and that stuff to talk about on the back end. But hopefully it's just a fun, entertaining game. Let's get through the preseason, end it out on a strong note. And yeah, that's all I got. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Probably be uploading my reaction and everything I took away from the game as well too. So till next time, thank you guys for your support, and I will see you later.